Okay, here's the thing. There are people out there refusing to give some homeless people money because they spent some of it on drinks and drugs. Okay? Here's one thing about it. Before you tell them, before you discriminate against them just for having a bottle of liquor in their hand, ask them, ask these people, why do you drink? And the reason why they drink is the same reason why you guys drink, because they're having a bad day. Like, look at the homeless person's perspective. When you're homeless, your life sucks. Okay? You try to get a home, but you can't get one. You try to get a job, you can't get one. Like, you could sign up into anything, but once people find out that you are actually homeless, you're fired, you're excluded from everything. Like, the only thing you get is food and water, but while it's nice, they want a place to stay. They want a home. They want a house. They want those places. And it's like, when and then when you're homeless, I know from experience, it's like, when you're homeless, you go into a store, you go into the same store, and the clerk sees your face every day. They will kick you out for literally no reason. You're not stealing from nobody. You're not doing nothing. And then once they want to kick you out, they don't want to hear a word you say because there's nobody there fighting for you. And let's say, for example, homeless people were to get themselves a home, like somebody offers them a place to stay. Okay? While it's nice that they give you a place to stay, when they're on when they're on their way to moving out of the place, but sometimes they want to, like, they're grateful, but their long term goals, they want a house that they can stay in. And let's say, for example, a rich person, it don't have to be a millionaire rich, but like somebody slightly richer than them, they give them a place to stay. And then the homeless person did exactly all the things, did exactly all the things to keep them in the house. Like, let's say, for example, you know how people be like, if you homeless and you living with me, you gotta clean up the house and do something. Here's the thing. In that to the homeless person, that's a lose-lose situation, because when you tell them to clean your room, you're telling them to move your stuff around, and they're not always going to remember where they put it, to the point where you will just kick them out the moment you see the slightest thing missing, and you don't even know if the homeless person really stole it. Like, you never know if the homeless person really stole your stuff or they just moved it because you told them to clean up your room. You told them to clean up your living room. And sometimes, even if they have a room of their own and you tell them to clean that up, and you tell them to clean that up, like, and you tell them to clean that up, like, you tell them to clean only their room themselves, you probably might be snooping around into their room looking for what you don't want to see. And you probably gonna see something. You're gonna think something is missing, and then you're gonna kick the homeless person out your house. And then you just don't want to hear what they gotta say. You're just gonna kick them out. One thing missing, out the house. But when a rich person be living with you, they could steal your stuff. Your stuff is their stuff is your stuff, and you just be okay with it. Homeless shelters exist, but they're not safe. Okay, they're not safe enough for the homeless person to dwell there for 90 days or whatever. Okay, there's always that one crazy, creepy person lurking around in there that could be a threat to this person's safety. Now they have no choice but to go to the streets. They cannot sleep in the neighborhood because there are hood hoggers, okay? And I'm talking about people who thinks they running shit just because they can kick the homeless person out the neighborhood. Like I had this one happen to me before, like 3 times. There's one person be like, "Hey, get out the street. This is my hood." And then if you do not get out, whenever they tell you to, they'll either beat your ass or straight up kill you. I had a racist Ku Klux Klan dude. I was sleeping at a bench one time in Lancaster. There was this racist Ku Klux Klan dude who I woke up to this guy and he was like, "Get out of my bench, you nigger! Get out!" And I'd be like, "Damn, no wonder why you homeless. Is this how you treat people? Like, is this how you treat black people? This is why nobody wants you living with them. If this is how you treat me?" I didn't say that, by the way, but it's like, if this is how you treat me, no wonder why you out in the streets hating life. I was like, okay. When he was out here screaming at me, for no reason, I was like, okay. I was like, okay, I'm out. So he was like, "This is my bench." Okay. I had another person was like, "You know what? The hood hawker thing, that happened to me 4 times. One person threatened to shank me because I was sitting in his tree. One dude was walking towards me ready to kill me or beat me up because I was a drug dealer. I had to call the police on this dude. The streets are not safe. The streets are not safe at all. Some police officers just wouldn't mind their business. Where it's like, if you're homeless, you could go to jail for it. You could either go to jail or be sent to the hospital or be sent to a group home. None of these places are safe. Jail's full of criminals, and you know you ain't a criminal. If you ain't a criminal, you don't belong in jail. Simple as that. And then you go to hospitals full of crazy people or seemingly crazy people, and it makes you feel like the crazy one, and then people don't take you seriously. They medicate you and all that shit. They make you feel like you're in an insane asylum. Group homes, they put you in hospitals just so they can put you in a group home. The moment, the moment you give them any information, you get into the hospital, they're gonna put you in a group home. So if you give out any information of yourself, they're gonna put you in a group home eventually. So yeah. And group homes are not safe because they dictate how you're supposed to be living your life in your own home. And if you do not live however they want you to live, they're gonna beat you up for it. Homeless people drink for a reason. Their life sucks. It doesn't solve their problem, but they drink because they can't solve their problems. Especially when society do not want to listen. They do not care about their rights. They do not want to listen to them. They do not care. The moment you want to kick a homeless person out of something, the moment people want to kick a homeless person out of something, they don't want to hear anything they gotta say. Like, no, I don't want to hear that. Get out, get out. Okay? Like, I was at Jack in the Box. I was asking for food. I have no choice but to ask for food because sitting on the table waiting all day, people gonna be coming to me asking questions like, "Hey, you want anything?" Like, I'm gonna ask. Like, here's the thing about how homeless people ask for food. Especially, I'm gonna talk about my experience. This is how I ask for food. I ask for food. Like, I tell people what I tell people what I want. Like, If I want something, I'm gonna let you know that. Like sometimes I ask the employees of the restaurant for food, but I don't ask the same employee for food. I don't ask the same employee for food because I know they ain't got like that. I only ask one person one time. And then the reason why I go to the same restaurant is because I'm not walking several ass miles from one place to another. I like to take it easy. I don't like my legs swollen up. Why do my legs need to be swollen up and all bruised and shit? I went through that. It's not fun. It's not fun. There was this one time I walked for several miles and it turned me into a fucking zombie. A literal zombie. Thank God he healed me. Man, if you weren't like, the thing about this is like, I'm not walking long miles, okay? If I ask you for food, if I'm homeless and I'm asking you for food, I'm asking you one time. And then later tomorrow when I get hungry, I'm gonna ask another person. I won't go crazy. I won't be annoying, but I'm just asking. Like you literally discriminating against my rights because I was homeless and I was really trying to survive. I was just trying to survive. It is not easy to get a job. And it's like, it's not easy to keep one. What if you come across this nosy person who tells the boss that you're homeless in the streets? Who tells the boss that you're homeless in the streets? Who tells your boss that you're homeless in the street and then you're just automatically fired because you're homeless? When you're homeless, you're losing every day. Yes, you get food. Yes, you get a blanket. But when you live in a society that believes that nature doesn't count as a home and says that you have to live a certain way in order to truly have a home, no wonder why homeless people drink and smoke and all that shit. Not only that, people discriminate against the homeless people way more than they discriminate against poor people who have such a privileged house, who have such a privileged lifestyle. People say get a job. It ain't that easy. People say get a home. Nah. If you gonna tell somebody to get a home, you can give them a home. But if it's gonna be a homeless shelter and they don't want to go there, then let it. Sometimes, like I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you can't give a homeless person a place to stay, if you can't give a homeless person a place to stay, if you can't help them get a job, if you can't help them get the Social Security benefits so they can pay the bills and stay in your house, then let them be in the streets in peace. Nature should count as home. Mind your business. And not only that, showering, okay? Showering, okay? People need to shower. But here's the thing. Bathrooms don't let the homeless in. I get it, but I get it though. Sometimes homeless people do be ruining shit for themselves. They do be ruining shit for themselves, ruining for everybody. Where it's like they be showering and leaving a lot of messy water. And here's a solution to that. Create an invention where mops, you know what? No. Create more drains into the bathtubs. Make more drains. Make more drains for these bathrooms. So if they do shower, you don't have to worry too much about mopping and stuff. And create an invention where if you do put a mop in the bathroom, they clean it They clean whatever mess they leave in there, they clean it. But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, they can't take it out. Like if they, for any reason, they can't take out the mop. They can't take away the mop. And because other people want to be in the bathroom, give them a time limit on how long they can shower in there. Pee, poop, shower. Pee, poop, shower. Pee, poop, bleed, shower. Create different timers for those things. And if they sleep in a restaurant, if they sleep anywhere, like here's the thing. Y'all be overworking their legs, making them walk extra miles. Of course they're going to be sleeping. But if they're going to be sleeping in there, give them a time limit on that. Give them a time limit on how long they can sleep in there. And then they can get out. Loitering. Let them have the right to put their tent like near the store. If they're gonna put their tent near the store, it can't be near the store door. It's gotta be somewhere, but not where the cars drive, and it cannot be somewhere where the cars drive, and it cannot be near the store door, like the sliding open door, close, that door. Like that. So you can walk in there, you acknowledge the homeless, and you okay, I'm just gonna walk in there. Hopefully they mind their business, and they probably will, and it's all good. If you're gonna keep somebody from sleeping near the store, just make it where it's like they could sleep near the store, but they can't surround the store. They gotta sleep somewhere. Where it's like it's away from the store door, away from where cars go, and everybody's at peace. We need public showers for these people. Public showers. And security guards to keep them safe. Because not everybody got wipes to be wiping all over and cleaning themselves with. Another thing. Okay. No, never mind. Another thing why homeless people drink is because they be trying to get a home and landlords refuse to give them one. I tried to get myself a home as a landlord. I tried to get myself a home through the landlord. And instead of the landlord saying, if you ain't got the stuff to get a home, don't bother trying. Like, I'm not going to give you a home. Instead of him just saying, I can't give you a home because you don't have the stuff, he just played with my emotions, wasted my time saying that I was too late to his office and I was right on time. He was literally taking advantage of me. Literally, like, just busy looking down on me just because I was in the streets. Okay, even Section 8 apartments will not let you into their home. They say they want the homeless, but if you are dirt poor homeless, dirt poor, had to sit in the streets homeless, you will not get those homes. You will not get a Section 8 apartment. Okay, when they say they're looking for homeless people, they're looking for people who are on their way to becoming homeless, but they don't want somebody who is already there. They don't want somebody who is already homeless. Not only that, People want to take away the homeless person's right to shit in the nature, in the shit in the dirt, the shit in the grass. And it's like, why aren't you telling that to the dog owner? Why aren't you telling that to the dog owner? Because in a rich person's mind, dogs have more of a right to shit in the nature than we do. And it's like, you expect a homeless person, I'm gonna say, and then people have a problem with homeless people shitting in certain places. Like, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Humans shit. If you ain't gonna give them a toilet, then they gonna be shitting in the streets. If you won't let them shit in the streets, they're gonna shit in your yard. And if you got a problem with the homeless person shitting in general, then you pick it up. Since it's your business to be telling people what to do with it. Like, dog owners be shitting in everybody's yard. You see people with their dogs be shitting in everywhere they go, and you don't be complaining about those people. People be on the homeless way more than they on the dogs for shitting. Like, and let's say, for example, we were to throw our shit into the sewer. Y'all gonna be like, hey, don't do that. Somebody owns that sewer. You can't put your shit anywhere. You're basically saying, don't shit. We shit because we're richer. We have the right to shit because we're richer. But you're homeless. So, and you are less than human. So you are not allowed to shit. There are fruit trees that don't belong to anybody. They're not even in nobody's yard. It's just in a sidewalk, and it just exists. And then, how do I say this? And then you take a fruit, people gonna be like, hey, don't do that. Somebody owns it. If it's not in your yard, then it's everybody's. It's everybody's tree. And before you say the government ain't gonna just, I don't see them. Fruit trees are literally for everybody. But here's the thing. Like, how do I say this? Fruit trees is like, how do I say this? Fruit trees are for eating. But for some reason, only the rich people can eat that. Or only the slightly rich people can eat that. Not the poor people. They don't have no right to eat. They don't count as human. So it is wrong for them to eat food in general. You think they taking advantage of them for just trying to survive. Like, this is why homeless people drink, they smoke, they do drugs, because even though it don't solve their problems, it numbs the pain. When their life sucks, all they can do is drink. All they can do is smoke. Okay? When you smoke and drink that much, like, I don't condone being addicted. To these things. But you can't be mad at people who are addicted to smoking and drinking. You can't be too mad at people addicted to smoking and drinking, because their life sucks. Everywhere they go is discrimination. Or if they don't get discriminated against right away, they're going to be discriminated against later on. Here's the thing. If you ain't gonna give the homeless people a safe home to be in, if you ain't gonna give them a safe home to be in, then let them be in the streets in peace. Let them be in the streets in peace. Mind your business and they mind theirs. Simple as that. Them smoking and drinking ain't hurt nobody. Ain't hurt nobody. And another thing is like, how do I say this? People who do use the money that you give them on drugs and alcohol, they use it on food. They use it on pads. But here's one thing, okay? With the little money that you have, you can only do so much with it. You can only do so much with it. Like, don't expect them to just get a house through little pieces of cash. Don't worry about what they're doing with their money, okay? True kindness is giving without expecting anything back. Because homeless people, they could rarely pay you back. Okay, they could rarely pay you back. Especially when they can't really get a job. And especially if nobody's gonna give them a house. Being homeless is hard. Hard AF. And just because a homeless person is all nice and all peaceful about it, it does not mean that it's great. It still sucks. Whether no matter how you take no matter how you view life on the streets, it still sucks at the end of the day. And if anybody who be like, serves them right, serves the homeless, I'm gonna just do it like this. Just wait until you are being put in their shoes.